Hi, welcome to AllBrands After Hours with me, Courtney Douthat. Welcome to the show. We're hanging out and craft together. Today, I'll be helping you troubleshoot your brother's ScanNCut. Let's do it. So guys, I've seen the comments and I've seen a lot of you having different issues that you want me to help troubleshoot with your ScanNCut. And I wish I was there in person so I could troubleshoot your exact machine. But I wrote down a list of a bunch of the questions that I kind of got a few times. That way we can go over them together and hopefully I can help you with your machine. So, a question that I saw in our last video, which was the tips and tricks for cutting fabric. If you're cutting fabric on your machine, I highly recommend that video. I also recommend the full fabric video that we did. Both of them great. But I saw someone did put on there that they were having a bit of tugging with their blade that they used to not have, and they were just getting a few issues. So whenever I noticed that I used to be able to cut crisp, beautiful, no matter what material it was, and now it's starting to not give me as good of a cut anymore. It's starting to tug in areas. Like, what is happening? Usually it means that your blade's dulling. You gotta think, over time, we're cutting. It's just like your scissors, your fabric scissors. You know, they get dull over time and you gotta sharpen them or get new ones. Always sharpen. But the same thing with your blade. It's dulling over time. Now, there are different tricks that I've seen out there, like the aluminum trick, where you get a ball of aluminum and then you stab it with your blade to sharpen it. I've never really gotten good experience with that, but it is something I've seen. Maybe we should do a video testing myths or like testing tricks that I've seen on the internet and actually see if they work. That actually might be a really fun video. I highly recommend just buying a new blade. Buy a new blade. They're not crazy expensive. And remember, if you've watched our videos before, you know that you can take your blade, like your fabric blade right here, and you can unscrew the top of it. Oh my God. I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can see how disgusting this blade is. And I bet this blade would have given me some trouble. All right, no judging my blade. I don't know if you can see that, but there is no, you can't see it. There is so much fluff inside of this. You see all that gunk? Yeah, that's gross. There's so much gunk in this because I've used it so much. On the last video, I mean, we literally cut out so much stuff with this. It's still a sharp blade, but it needed that gunk cleaned out of it. So if you're not getting as crisp a cut anymore with your fabric, or any of the blades really, open it up, make sure there's nothing lodged in there, any debris from cutting, because like even with my vinyl blade, one time I had a piece of vinyl almost pretty much over the blade. And so it wasn't giving me a good cut because the blade wasn't actually touching the actual vinyl I was cutting because it had that piece of vinyl over it. So check for debris from previous projects. If it's brand new, it shouldn't have any debris in there. This is only if you've used your blade a ton, so check in there. If you notice even after that it's really dulled out, go ahead and change your blade out. You know, to get your spatula tool that comes with your machine, has a little foamy bit, stab the blade. That way you're not touching anything sharp with your hand. Throw this one away, buy a new one, pop that sucker in there, go ahead and close her on up, and now you're good to go, and it should cut fine. Now, Courtney, what if it's still not cutting great? I've put it in there, I've changed my blade out, brand new blade, still is giving me a little issue. Okay, well now we're gonna revert to what are we cutting? So if I had a cotton fabric and it had a loose weave, say it's not the greatest quality cotton fabric, but I wanna use it. Well, that's when I would take out like a Ethereal Magic. We went over that the last show of how to use Ethereal Magic. It's a starch, so it gives it a little stiffness. So that way when my machine's cutting it out, it's not worrying about a fluffy loft or something with an open weave. It kind of gives it more stability to get a crisper cut. Ethereal Magic washes out. So if you wash it, all that comes out and it goes back to normal. So that's why I always recommend Ethereal Magic because I've personally used it. And again, it just washes out. Because what if I don't want a stiff thing? What if I'm putting it on a quilt? Well, I don't want it stiff on a quilt. That's supposed to be soft. So having that just to support it while it's cutting, so I can cut any material I want. I mean, last video we cut batting, we cut felt, we cut corduroy, like we cut a lot of things. Most of them I didn't treat because they did just fine. But if you are noticing that a material like a cotton material is not giving you a crisp cut, and your blade's fine, everything is fine. We have rotary blades, so you shouldn't be having to mess with the pressure or the blade, anything. You shouldn't have to do that. It's an auto blade. We shouldn't have to do it. It's automatically going to sense how deep. But we can give it a little bit of help, but I really never have to. It's pretty rare. But these are things, if you've noticed, it's a helpful thing. That's part of it, is your blade. The other part is your mat. So I have a lot of people that are like, Courtney, my mat won't load. There was, God, was it 2 years ago? Time flies. A few years ago. The mat, the loading, there was a loading problem with the mats. And brother said that it was something that was fixed with an update, and that was a whole mess. But recently, the mats are fine. Everything's been running smoothly, knock on wood. So if your mat is having loading issues, what I would recommend is, one, look at your mat. Are the corners bent? If your corners are bent, especially right here at the top, the machine's not going to want to load it at all. So that's why I always recommend storing it flat, because if you store it flat, you're less likely to get bent ends. Never roll your mats up. It's okay if they're like this, but don't roll them up, because that's going to cause havoc and not want to load your mats. And you want it flat, so that way material's laying flat on it while it's cutting. So if you ever notice any bent corners, try to bend them back as best you can. If they're so bent, then it's probably time for a new mat. But like I said, if you keep them straight, keep the protective covers on them, your mats will last longer, so you won't have that problem. So when you're loading your mat, you're going to pull it up here, and you're going to make sure that it's touching. So you're not pushing, you're just lightly holding on to the back. I usually say hold on to the back. Do not hold up here. That is a roller, and you do not want to get your hand stuck in that. So I don't recommend holding it here like I've seen. Just hold the back of it lightly. It's going to feed in, you can let it go, and it's going to do fine. But you don't want to shove, because I don't want to bend these things. The machine is reading these little bars up here. That's how it knows what mat's in there. So instead of your scanning mat, it knows it's a cutting mat. Because if I told it to cut on my scanning mat, it's going to say, whoa, hold on, I'm not supposed to cut on this. So very helpful. But it is reading those, and that's how it knows to bring it in and everything like that. So never cover that. If you are putting a piece of fabric there, don't cover that, or it's not going to load. So that might be an issue. Make sure these are visible to the machine so it can load. Make sure your corners are not bent and you are storing it correctly. So again, so it will load. If any of those things happen and it's not loading into your machine, don't force it, don't push it. If for some reason that your mat gets stuck in your machine, I know that's scary, because that's happened to me a few times. What you're going to do is, I know it's terrible, if it's mostly in our machine, say it has just a little bit sticking right here, pull it out the back. If it's mostly sticking out on this side, pull it out the front. I know it feels weird. Take it. I usually hold it both sides and pull. I've only ever had to do that 2 times in the, we're not going to say how many years, but a lot of years that I've been doing ScanNCut. I've only had to do it a few times. If you ever get a mat load in sideways like that, so say you put it this way, but for some reason it jerked it like that, same concept, 2 hands, pull evenly. It's not gonna hurt your machine. Don't do it a lot. I mean, you shouldn't have to. It doesn't really get stuck that often. And it should be fine. I mean, you're not gonna leave a stuck mat in there, so you should be good. All right, so we went over that of loading your mat. Now let's go. It's so dirty. Okay, I'm gonna see if you can see it. You know what? I'm gonna show you on the other camera. So I'm totally telling on myself. This mat is an inch from death. This is disgusting. And we've gone over how to clean your mats before. But if you've noticed, not much stick. A little stick over here, but I mean, it's not sticky. Like if I put something down right here to try to cut it, it's gonna come off. Like the sticky is what's holding it to the mat to allow me to cut things. So what I usually tell people is, if it's not sticky anymore, you've lost your stick, go ahead and clean your mats. Do I clean mine as much as I should clean them? How often I should clean them? No, probably not. I need to get better about it. But I do make sure when they get this bad, I do clean them. And of course, if you've watched our show before, you are not unfamiliar with this product right here. My bottle has seen better days. It's called Totally Awesome. We are not affiliated with them. It's just good stuff. So let's go ahead and we're going to clean our mat up close. I'm going to keep it on this frame. I'll grab my scraper tool, my brother's scraper tool, and I'm going to grab some paper towels. So plain paper towels, scraper tool, Totally Awesome. We're going to do this together, up close camera so you guys can see. Alrighty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray Totally Awesome all over this mat. Now, this is straight out of the bottle. Do not dilute. Do not dilute this cleaner. Full strength. Full strength. And if you haven't watched our show before, this is from the Dollar Tree. And I've heard of, or last show, or one of the shows when we were talking about it, people did say they did find it other places, but I get mine from the Dollar Tree. So this just helps us start moving that gunk. So I'm going to take my scraper tool and I'm going to start moving things around. It's like a little magic eraser. Isn't it neat? Do not use a magic eraser on your mat. But look at that. And I'm not pushing hard. I'm just pushing things around just to disturb it. That's the whole point of this, is to disturb all that gunk. Do you see that coming up? Like, that is disgusting. Look, I use my mats, okay? I use my things. Alrighty. So we're just gonna keep moving it around just to disturb it. If you get a spot that's kind of finicky, you can go over it multiple times. Just don't go too hard. Just softly back and forth. What we're trying to do is, again, we're trying to move all that gunk around. We're not trying to strip the sticky from it. So this will be very odd the first time you do it because it will not be sticky. It will not be sticky at all while it's wet. But once it dries and we get all this off, it will bring back all the sticky. Now, you notice right here that little red that's still showing a bit. That's because that has kind of, it was a thick material, so it did score my mat a bit, so that red is stuck in that scoring. It's fine. I'm not worried about a bit of scoring. I will take a bit of scoring as long as it gives me a bit of a good cut. It's not ruining my mat. I can still use my mat. It's perfectly fine. What I like to do is I like to sweep all the gunk in one spot like that. Take a paper towel, wipe off my scraper, and then I come and I grab all of that gunk that was on there. Like, did y'all see? That is disgusting. Like, that's so gross. I'm gonna throw that away. I'm gonna take another paper towel and I'm gonna come and I'm gonna wipe down my mat. Now, if you notice, again, some places need a little help because that thing was an inch from death. Most people would have thrown this mat away. I am not most people. I'm not throwing this mat away. I'm going to make it last as long as humanly possible. All right, so we did that. It is not sticky at all. I'm gonna go over it one more time, just again, because this mat was disgusting. You shouldn't have to go over it multiple times, but again, this was horrible. So, pushing that around. Go there. Honestly, usually what I do is I'll grab a lot of my mats that need cleaning, and I'll put them all over my desk. And then I'll go down the row cleaning them and just get it all knocked out at once. Might as well get it all done. All right. It's a little therapeutic. Watch a show. Watch us on YouTube or Facebook or however you watch us. All right, there we go. Oh, got a lot more gunk. You see all that coming off? That's so gross. All right, it's just threads from materials and just, you know, the material that we cut. Alrighty. All right, so this one I'm going to be a little bit more exact about getting that off because that was the last time I wanted to do it. Again, another paper towel. And you're going to want to work fairly quickly because it's already bringing back some of that stick, and I don't want this paper towel in there when stick's coming back because I can already feel it. You see? Right where my hand was. All right, so we're going to leave this without the protective cover. No protective cover right now. And we're doing this real time, no cutting. This is actually what's happening. So if I put my hands on it, see how it starts moving right there? It's because it's bringing that stick back. So I'm like fanning her. So if you leave her out for a few minutes, she's gonna bring stickiness back little bit by little bit. And then once she's totally dry, her full stickiness will be back. So highly recommend to do that. It makes your mats last so much longer, and then you're spending less money on your mats because they are lasting longer. So highly, highly recommend. Look at that. So I don't want to switch cameras because I want you guys to see how the stickiness comes back, but it is look at that. I can pick this up now. Look at that. I can literally lift it up with the stickiness. Look at that. That section that we went over multiple times, that's still drying. So in that section needs a little bit longer, but not much longer. Look at that. That is so cool. Okay. Ugh. All right, so Stop doing that, Courtney. You're putting your grubby hands all over the mat. So we would put our protective cover back on there now that she is completely dry. If you want to do like this when she's drying to make it go faster, you can. But usually, again, I just lay all my mats out on my desk, and I even have some back there, and I'll lay them all out, clean them all, have it done, kind of do an assembly line. And then that way, again, it cleans them all, and then I start the week with fresh, clean mats. So this one desperately needed it because it was an inch from last. So she's good to go. All right, I'm gonna go put her up before I accidentally put something on her like my hair. There you go. Protective cloth. Her protective sheet. There she goes. Now she's good to go for whatever I want to cut up next. So another one that I saw quite a few times where people were saying that they bought the rotary kit or they bought the what you have the kits right here. Hold on. There we go. So they bought things like the rotary kits or the vinyl blade kits, and they were confused of how to use it, what to do with it. They were confused how to register them, where to go, what to do, and everything like that. Now, we've done a video dedicated on both of these guys separately that went through activating our rotary kit and activating our vinyl kit. Both of these I recommend doing in Brother Canvas, the web version. There is the app version and there's the web version. I prefer using the app version. I don't know why, I just find it more tailored to how I work. But make an account on both. It's the same account. It's not like you're not having to go and make separate accounts. It's the same accounts, same logins. There's just the website one and there's the app one. So the website Canvas is the one that you need to go on. So if you type in Brother Canvas Workplace, whatever search engine you use, I use Google. Type that in, it'll bring you to Brother Canvas. You're going to make a login, and that's where you're going to go ahead and register these guys. There are registration codes. See, does this one still have it in there? No. Do you still have yours? So there are little registration codes. I still have mine in this one. And I keep mine because I'm weird. But there are little registration codes. If you open that up, it's going to have a special little code to you that you're going to use to activate your kit that you purchased on your Brother account. They stay on your Brother account, so if something happens to your machine or you upgrade your machine down the road, it still stays on your account. I think you can upgrade up to 3 machines before you have to buy a new kit, but how often are you buying 3 new machines? So I like that they did that. That way if my machine gets damaged or something happens to her, it's on my Canvas account. It's not in my machine. It's recommended to do it on the website, not the app. So that's how you do it. If you're on the app and you're like, wait a second, what's happening? Go on Brother Canvas, the web version, to be able to activate them. All right, so we're gonna wanna go to our username right here at the top. And then we're gonna go to Premium Function Activation. And that's where you're gonna put in your activation code that came in that box. And that's for the rhinestone kit, the printable sticker kit, the stamp kit, the embossing, foiling, roll feeder, paper piecing, print to cut, ScanNCut link, auto blade kit, any of those are going to be right here. So you'd put in your code and then hit activate to activate it to your account. So if I wanted to do, let's go back. So if I came here again to our username and go to pattern collection activation, that's going to be where your rotary blade kit is going to be. And you put in your activation code here. Courtney, why are they in 2 different places? Well, your rotary blade kit gave you designs. Your vinyl one gives you designs as well, but the rotary one is a whole other level that gets added to your machine. So that's why it's in pattern collections, because you can bring that whole thing over to your machine, the whole collection over your machine. So that's where that one would be. And again, we've done a whole video on the rotary blade. Now, Courtney, what if I get a brand new machine? What do? Well, machine registration right here. Again, you click your name, machine registration, to register your machine. So there is a number on the back of your machine that is your serial number that you would use. That is where you would want to click in to go to be able to do that. If you have problems enabling the Wi-Fi, make sure your machine is registered first before you try to connect it to your Wi-Fi to send things wirelessly. Make sure your machine is registered. I know a lot of people are like, Courtney, I'm having trouble registering. I'm having trouble sending a design from my computer to my machine. And a lot of times they haven't registered that machine. So your computer has no idea where to send it. So register your machine. Again, if something happens to your machine, then it's nice to have documentation on it. So register your machine. Cannot recommend that enough. And while we're on Canvas, I do want to recommend to go to Canvas, because not only to register your machine, but also because they give you all these free projects that you do not have to pay anything for. They are completely free. They never delete them out. And a lot of them, especially the newer ones, have helpful videos and recipe cards to be able to create whatever design you want. So these are really great. I love that they have the photos for them, and they really have them for Father's Day, Mother's Day, Christmas, Valentine's Day. I mean, look, here's the Father's Day one. Those are so cute. Mother's Day, St. Patrick's Day. I mean, there's really so many in here. So I always recommend to come to Brother Canvas to look at the different designs and get inspired. Especially when I'm like, I want to make something, I'm in a rut, I don't really know what to make. I come in here and I look at all the cool designs. Like this one right here. How cool is that? This is Moroccan tile stickers. Like, how neat. And they give you the design on your mat that you can send over wirelessly or through a USB. They give you a video of how to do it. They give you the recipe card that goes step by step how to do it, and you can download all parts in a zip file. So very, very cool. Highly recommend Canvas. That is a huge thing that I personally use. But again, I use the app version more than the web version because I just like the format of it. But again, it's completely up to you which one you prefer using. So you can create a new project like this. Now, pattern collection, if I had purchased any of the collections, so the rotary blade one is available, but there are so many different patterning collections, and you can activate them on Canvas to be able to use them. So, and again, if you activate any of the Disney ones, because yes, there are Disney, so you can get the different princesses and all of that. Even if you don't have a Disney model, you can purchase Disney cards separately to get the Disney ones. So the Disney models, of course, come with all of these already on there, but you can purchase them separately. Oh, they came out with the Disney roll feeder. Okay, I'm learning new. I don't know, I didn't realize that. That's so cool. Haven't seen the roll feeder video. We went over how to cut up to 6 feet of continuous vinyl with your ScanNCut. So that was a really fun video. All right, I'll stop playing in Canvas because I could go on and on about Canvas Workspace. Highly recommend it. I mean, it's the ScanNCut software, but free. It is free, and it comes with your machine. It's just, it's neat. And plus, a lot of times I like editing on a computer. Like, yeah, you can edit on your screen. It's a standalone machine. She can edit on her own. You don't have to have the internet. You don't have to have it hooked up to anything. It is a standalone machine. But they give you that option to do it on Canvas Workspace if you want to. You don't have to. She is a standalone machine. But it's a good option. So before we jump into the next one, there is something very exciting that I would like to announce. We will be starting a membership program that is called AllBrands Behind the Seams, where you can actually go behind the scenes, but with me to see what project am I currently working on, like at home, what am I working on? Videos of the studio, which is not done. When that will come shop with me, come into our retail stores with me. These are exclusive videos that are gonna be for members only, more vlog style videos, so not so formal, but get to hang out with me if you want to. And of course, you'll get a really cool little badge next to your name that shows that you're a member. There's tons of other features, and of course, I'll list them somewhere on the screen that you'd be able to get with the membership. This will not change anything about this channel. Everything that is currently happening with this channel, with our videos, with After Hours will stay exactly the same. Everything will be the same. This is something just additional. So very, very excited to launch that. It should be launched now. It should be available as this video is going up. That is something, AllBrands Behind the Seams, that we are bringing out. I'm very, very excited to start this. So I've already started recording something. You guys are watching me right now. You're actually behind the camera, so you get to see what's in front of me a little bit. So you guys are actually back there watching me right now, and I think as soon as this video is over, we might go down to the retail store, meaning the behind the scenes members, to shop because I need a few things. So I'm excited. If you're excited, let me know. It's just another way that we get to interact with you guys. So I'm very, very excited to be bringing that out. So for the rest of the video, what I want to do is, actually I have my phone right here, is I want to go through your questions that you wanted answered from last video. I asked you guys to give me some questions that you wanted answered so I could answer them for you. So I'm actually going to go through them and we'll pop them up on screen. So Pamela Fisher asked, I'd like to have a couple of questions answered. First is when you cut the corduroy fabric, Did you place the nap side up or face down? Also, if cutting out letters with Wonder Under applied, does design have to be mirrored image like HTV? Thank you for all the great demonstrations. All right, thank you. So when I cut the corduroy fabric out on last show, I had the nap facing up. Why did I do that? Because in my head, the nap is more fluffy than the bottom part. So I would rather having that underneath really secured onto my fabric mat than something fluffy that might shift. So nap facing up on my fabric mat, to get a better cut. Now, if I had Wonder Under applied and I had to flip that design over because you don't want to put paper on your fabric mat, and I wouldn't want to use my low tack paper mat to cut out this because fabric, I want to make sure it's holding onto my fabric, I would flip it at that case. Flip it and have fabric side down on the fabric mat and paper side up, and I would flip my design in my machine because it's flipped on my mat, and if it was words like my name, Courtney, well, I wanted to be cut out the correct direction, so I would just flip it one button, flip it on my machine to have it flip the other way, just like how you do heat transfer vinyl, and then you're good to go. So we have So Fabulous saying, hi Courtney, thanks for another great video. I'd like to know if the ScanNCut is capable of cutting acrylic and can emboss as well. If so, the ScanNCut accessories would I need, or so if, what ScanNCut accessories would I need? Thanks again. Thank you. So yes, the ScanNCut can cut through acrylic. Here it is. And actually, if you guys want a show on cutting acrylic, more than happy to do it. So this is some acrylic that I bought, just thin acrylic. The way that I always say of what you can put in your machine is, does it have some flex to it? If it has some flex to it and I can kind of bend it, it's fine. If it has no flex to it, do not put that in your machine because it will damage your machine. So if it has a little bit of flex, so if you're doing like balsa wood, I have some down here. There we go. If you have balsa wood like this, you see how it's got that little bit of movement? I can kind of push it around. Also, if you could take a nice pair of scissors, I know you don't want to do it with your fabric scissors, but a nice pair of scissors, and you can cut with your fabric scissors, cut both of these items, you know it's safe to put in your machine. So that's how you can kind of troubleshoot of what's supposed to go in your machine and what's not supposed to. Can I take a nice pair of scissors and cut through these materials very easily? Yes, then you can put it in your machine. If you cannot, I don't recommend putting it in your machine. Now she can do up to a 3mm thickness, so a very thick material that you can put in there. So that's the thickness and what you can do. But yeah, acrylic, she does it like a dream. So let me know if you guys want that video. I'll be happy to do it for you. So yes, she can cut acrylic. And what was the other part of that? Can she emboss? Yes, she can emboss. She actually has a whole kit dedicated to embossing. And again, if you guys want a video on that kit, let me know. That she does beautiful. So I'll put the embossing kit on the screen. Great job with embossing. I've done it on really nice cardstock and made beautiful invitations. I've done it on our Christmas cards. Came out beautifully. And you know, if you go on some of those sites, you got to pay extra for embossing. You got to pay extra for foiling. And I'm not paying extra. I'm going to do it on my ScanNCut. So I can do it every year. So I don't have to pay a fee every single year. I can just do it on my machine. So embossing, yes, it is a kit that you can get separately that allows you to emboss beautifully. So thank you for your question. Rosemary said, great video. Thank you, Rosemary. Is the ScanNCut a 325 in this video? Is that the current up-to-date model? Reason I ask is I am looking for a ScanNCut for fabric applique and would also like to do heat transfer for labels and t-shirts. Also would like to make vinyl transfers to put on glass and mirrors. Would the 325 be the one to get, or is it overkill? Does it come with all the mats and accessories that I would need to start? I don't want the Disney one. I just wanted to do lots. Thanks for all your help along the way. You're welcome. So, this is the 325, so good eye. The 330 is the Disney one that she's referring to. So the 325 and the 330 are at the time of doing this video, because I know sometimes a year from now or 3 years from now or something like that, someone's gonna watch this. So at the time of doing this video, yes, the 325 and the 330 are the newest models. This is the 325. I like the 325. Over a lot of the other models because of the scanning features on both of those machines has been elevated, so I get a better scan. So when I scan in a design to my machine, it used to sometimes give me not the greatest lines, but now it's crisp, beautiful lines. So the image transferring is beautiful, wonderful when you scan things in. So you're wanting to do fabric appliques, fabric, wonderful on these machines because of the fabric blade. So in your machine, and we've done an unboxing of the 325, so if you want to see exactly opening the box brand new, here's what it is. That video I highly recommend, because again, we literally opened a brand new machine and I pulled out things and explained them along the way. So you're gonna get these two blades, your black auto blade and your tan auto blade, which is your fabric scissors. So very good machine for fabric, because it already comes with these. So the 330, the Disney one that you don't want, comes with this blade and the black auto blade. So your rotary blade and your black auto blade come with that model, but you can always buy the rotary blade separately. And if you do get the 325 from our website, allbrands.com, we throw in the rotary blade kit. That is a special thing that they started doing. Editing Courtney here. I just want to mention that you do have to put the 325 and the rotary blade kit in your cart and then use the code after hours to apply it to that order, and that's how you get the free rotary blade kit. They just do it for the after hour show. So yes, you'd be able to do all the things that you want to do with the 325. Does it come with all the accessories? Yes, it comes with all the blades and the mats to start, which I don't know if I mentioned this before, if I've ever mentioned this before, because I'm not really a salesperson. I just kind of play with the machine. So if you want, which is the rotary blade, let me pull it. That kit looks like this, and it comes with this one. So the 325 doesn't come with this blade. It comes with the fabric blade and the black auto blade. So if you're wanting this blade separately, you used to have to pay for it for this model. It only came with the 330 machine, SDX 330. But now AllBrands, this is something just AllBrands does, is they throw that kit in when you buy a 325 on our website, allbrands.com. Something really cool that I thought, because I had to buy mine separately. And yes, I'm a little annoyed at it that they start doing that promotion after the fact. But whatever, it's fine. I'm glad you guys get the good deal. So, anywho's, so yes, it can do all the things that you're wanting it to do. Is it overkill? Great question. I never tell anyone that ScanNCut is bad. Even the previous models that weren't auto blade, no, they still cut. They still do a good job. It's just features. It's all features. What features do you want? Do you want an auto blade? Okay, well the SDX models are going to be your girl. Are you wanting to cut up to a 12 by 24? Okay, well that's a feature that you want to add. Do you want a really good image tracing, which is scanning it in and being able to convert any image into a cut or draw file? Well, then that's great. But in my opinion, the 325 and the 330 have the best image tracing, so that's why I usually lean towards them. And of course with them you get me. So, because I do the videos on the 325. A lot of it is transferred over, but I actually do the videos on the 325. So I know a lot of people get that exact machines because they know they can get education on these exact machines with me. So 100% up to you. But again, the 325, if you do get that one off of our website, they do throw in the rotary blade, which the rotary blade, if you're doing fabric, we've done a whole video on just this blade. It's fabulous. So good. So good. All right, so Linda Brown said, I would like to apply under my floral fabric and cut out individual flowers. In order to do what I want to do, the paper side of the under wonder would need to be placed on the mat so I can scan the flowers that I want to cut. How would I do this? What mat and what blade? Okay, so if you're wanting paper on the mat, if that's what you have to do for your particular project, that's fine, you can do that. But do not put it on your fabric mat. If you put it on your sticky fabric mat, it's gonna shred that paper and you're gonna get paper stuck on your mat. It's gonna be horrible. In that case, you would have to do it on a low tack or your blue low tack mat. I would recommend doing it on that. I usually try to avoid putting fabric near that mat because that's my least stickiest mat, but it's the least stickiest because it does paper and you don't want too sticky and then it shreds your paper. So you would have to do it on your blue low tack mat. What blade? You still use fabric blades. Yeah, so if you have this blade or if you have this blade, so you said what material it was. Okay, you didn't say what exactly the fabric was, but if it's a cotton material, you could just use your tan auto blade. If it's something a little bit more trickier like felt or wool, then you could use your rotary blade. You could use your rotary blade if it's a cotton material too, but depending on what blade you have, either of them would work. Okay. And I know that feels weird because you're going to cut through paper with your fabric blade and it feels like fabric scissors, but I'm more worried about making sure my fabric has the crispest cut than if it happens to come in contact with a little bit of paper. If you want to dedicate, if you're doing a lot of it, you want to dedicate one blade to that usage, then that's fine, but it's 1000% up to you. I mean, if you're not doing it much, a few times isn't going to hurt the blade. Oh, this isn't a question, but Kathy Ann said, it cuts felt great. I cut over 200 felt flower petals. Kathy, what are you doing? 200, girl, what you making? That's cool. I know, I need to figure out a way that I can see y'all's projects because I'm nosy and I want to see them all. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. This one, next question is, should the side switch be on 1 or 2 for fabric cutting? Great question. So on the side right here, there's a little lever, and you can see it. Look inside my machine when I do this. You see that? So that is an internal bar. When I go down to 1, you see it going down. When I come up to 2, that bar goes away. It comes up. That's how you're able to do such thick fabrics. The 3mm, if it's a thick fabric, it tells you, the machine will tell you to go up. And if it's a very thin material, sometimes it will tell you to go down. So there's no guessing to that. Just listen to your machine. Your machine will tell you when you need to flip it. If you know you're doing a thick material, yeah, go ahead and put it to the 2. If you know it's a thin material, go ahead and put it down to the 1. But if it tells you to switch it back, don't feel weird. Just switch it back. The machine's going to guide you. So for fabric, depending on the fabric, if I'm doing a thick wool, I need to go to a 2. If I'm doing a thin plain cotton, I can slip it down to a 1. But again, the machine's going to tell you which one. So while I've got you for a second, I do want to remind you guys that Bayou University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana is currently open. It's going to be 2 days of fun education. I will be there both days teaching, having a blast with you guys. So Bayou University is currently open to sign up for registrations. Now, while I'm saying that, it is open. Right now, we literally just opened not too long ago. If you're wanting to sign up for it now, because I know a lot of people were very upset that Lone Star University sold out so quickly. So this is my warning to you. This is my warning. If you're wanting to go to that, go ahead and sign up because it's gonna fill up fast. I think a lot of people will really miss that in-person, one-on-one, we did it where and this is me going on tangents, we did it in smaller groups. So that way we can get more one-on-one time, teacher and educator, to be able to help you more. So I don't like the big events where it feels like you can't get anyone help you. If you have a question, you're not able to ask that question. So we did smaller groups that are rotating. That way you get more face-to-face time with us. That way we can really pinpoint what you need, what we can do for you, teach you a little bit better. So I'm very excited about that. So if you're wanting to go to Bayou University, it is linked down below. Make sure you sign up for that before it sells out. And then you guys are upset with me and you're like, Courtney, why did you let that sell out so fast? And I'm like, I'm sorry. So go ahead and sign up for that if you are interested in Bayou University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. All right, Susie Fisher said, Courtney, when would you use a deep cut blade? Okay, a deep cut blade. So that terminology came from the CM model. So those were pre-auto blade. There was where you had numbers right here and you had to do the blade number and you had to do the pressure number. With auto blade, it took all that away. But with those models, there was only like 2 blades. There was your regular cutting blade and then there was a deep cut blade. I think it was purple. The regular was blue and then the deep cut was purple. So she's asking when she would use her deep cut blade. Pretty thick materials. If you feel like it's a thicker material, go ahead and do it. Because if you're going all the way to a 10 with your blue blade, it's probably time to, if you're using high numbers, go ahead and try that deep cut blade because it's made to go through those deeper materials. So it really depends on what project you're doing. What I would do that on thin balsa wood, deep cut blade, anything like it's a chunkier material, I would do a deep cut blade, especially if I've been test cutting with my blue regular blade and it wasn't doing as great. That's when I would jump up there. So that's what I would do that. If you have an SDX model, you don't have to worry about that. It's just auto blade, auto blade, auto blade. All right, guys, that was some of the questions that I saw. I know there was tons more. I'm so sorry. We will do another dedicated questions and answers. That way I can answer more of your questions. Don't forget, guys, that we are getting so close to 13,000 subscribers. Like, what? I think we're at, I'll put the number on the screen. Currently, we're at this number. It's like 2,500 something last time I looked. That is insane. That is insane. So when we get to 13,000 subscribers, I will do another live video answering your questions, chit-chatting with you guys back and forth. I had so much fun at the last ones. You guys were a hoot. So I will do that once we reach 13,000 subscribers. We are so close. This is insane. So why do 13,000 of you want to hang out with us? So thank you so much for that. We truly, truly appreciate it. And don't forget that you can get the Brothers ScanNCut as well as a bunch of other cool products on our website, allbrands.com. When you do purchase the 325 on our website, you do, of course, get the rotary blade. At the time of the filming this video, you do get the rotary blade free with the 325, and that is a special that AllBrands is running. So thank you guys so much. I very much appreciate you watching this channel and commenting and liking. You guys have been wonderful. So I am sorry that I missed the live premiere of the last video. I was actually visiting my grandma. So grandma came first, I'm sorry. But I will be there this week. If you guys don't know, whenever the video first comes out, I am in the live chat saying hi to you guys, answering questions, just having a good time. So the first time the video runs. Also, heads up warning. This video is coming out at 7 o'clock on Saturday. Next week's video, we're going to push the time back, so it's going to be on Saturdays at 6. We're pushing the time back just because when I do live videos, I don't want to be in the studio late at night by myself. So we're going to push it back an hour. And a lot of people said that time worked better for them. So don't forget, if you can't catch it live, or during the live premiere, it does save to our channel, so you can always reference it back later on. So just a head warning, this one will come out at 7 like our regular time. This is my warning to you guys that the next videos will start coming out at 6 o'clock on Saturday instead. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I know I threw a lot of information at you. Please leave your comments down below for the next questions and answers video. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because it's the easiest way to let us know that you want more of these videos. Y'all have a good night. Bye.